Please. Somebody help us. God, please don't let this happen. The night air swallowed her screams. Sada's hands trembled as she clawed at the dirt, her once perfect red dress now torn and soaked in sweat. Her best friend, Nora, sobbed beside her, her makeup streaked with tears. They had dreamed of a night of luxury, wealth, and power. Now, they were prisoners. The men who had promised them the world stood in a perfect circle, their faces obscured by crimson masks. A golden bowl sat in the center, reflecting the flickering torchlight. One of the masked figures stepped forward, his voice smooth, deceptive. Deadly. You wanted riches. You wanted power. Now, it is time to pay the price. He lifted the bowl. A dark, bubbling liquid swirled inside. Sod gasped as he tipped it toward her. The world spun. And then, darkness. St. Lucia University was the heart of ambition and deception. It was the kind of place where secrets were currency, and reputation meant everything. Among the glittering names that dominated campus life, none were as infamous as the Scarlet Circle. A group of 4 girls who had built their empire on beauty, wealth, and manipulation. There was Sod, the leader, the strategist, the untouchable queen. Nora, the beauty, the siren who could wrap any man around her finger. Ariel, the brain, the girl who always had a backup plan for every situation. And Kimmy, the heart, the girl who smiled the brightest but carried the darkest secrets. Together, they ruled St. Lucia like modern-day royalty. But power always comes at a cost. And on Valentine's Eve, they were about to find out just how high that cost could be. It started with an invitation. A sleek, black envelope was delivered to their shared penthouse. No return address. No signature. Just 5 words written in bold gold ink. One night, one chance to change your life. Kimmy had laughed, twirling a lock of her perfectly curled hair. Mysterious. I like it. Nora had smirked. Sounds like an exclusive club. Probably some billionaire's party. Ariel frowned, examining the envelope under the chandelier's glow. Why us? Sod had been the last to speak. Who cares? We don't turn down an opportunity. And just like that, the decision was made. They were going. The address on the invitation led them to a mansion hidden deep within the city's hills. From the outside, it looked like something out of a dream, a towering estate with marble pillars, lush gardens, and an entrance lit by hundreds of candles. Valet drivers in sleek black suits opened the doors for them, ushering them inside. And that's when the first red flag appeared. There were no other guests. Just them. Where's everyone? Kimmy whispered, gripping Ariel's arm. Before anyone could answer, the grand door slammed shut behind them. And the game began. A group of men in deep red masks greeted them, their voices polite but eerily void of emotion.
Welcome, beautiful ones.
Tonight, you dine with fate itself. The girls exchanged uneasy glances. A long table had been set for 5. Only 5. The seats were already labeled, one for each of them. This is weird, Ariel muttered under her breath. But Sod, ever the fearless leader, slid into her seat. Relax. We're here now. Let's see what they have to offer. The masked men poured them a dark red wine, smooth, rich, and intoxicating. It tasted like power. Like a promise. Then the host, the man with the golden mask, raised his glass. Tonight, we celebrate new beginnings. Sod smiled, playing along. And what exactly are we beginning? The man chuckled. Your transformation. As the night wore on, the conversation grew more sinister. The masked men spoke in half-truths and riddles, their words dancing around something unspoken. Then came the second red flag. There were no phones. The girls had handed them over at the entrance, security reasons, the doorman had said. But now, sitting there in the candlelit room, Sod realized they were cut off. Isolated. Trapped. Kimmy, always the life of the party, giggled. Okay, what's really going on? Some underground club? A secret society? The man in the golden mask set his drink down. You could say that. Then, he clapped his hands. The room went dark. You cannot leave. When the lights flickered back on, the room had changed. The luxurious dining hall was gone. In its place was a dimly lit chamber with black stone walls. And in the center, a golden bowl. The girls stood up at once. What the hell is going on? Nora demanded. The golden-masked man smiled.
You wanted a night of power, did you not? Well, nothing in this world comes for free.
The other men stepped forward, blocking the exits. Their red masks seemed to shift, as if the shadows beneath them were alive. Kimmy screamed. Saad grabbed Nora's arm, her pulse hammering. We need to run. But it was already too late. The golden-masked man picked up the golden bowl. Inside, a thick black liquid swirled. Drink. Ariel shook her head violently. No. We are not doing this. The man sighed. A pity. Then, he nodded to his guards. And the nightmare truly began. The girls fought, screamed, and begged. But the men were too strong. Saad was forced to her knees first. The golden bowl was tilted toward her lips. The liquid burned as it touched her skin, a sensation that was neither hot nor cold, but something far worse. Then came the whispers. The dark, terrible voices that coiled around her mind.
You wanted power. You wanted wealth. Now, you belong to us.
Nora's screams pierced the darkness. Kimmy's body went limp. Ariel's eyes turned black. And then, silence. The next morning, no one at St. Lucia University knew where the Scarlet Circle had gone. Their apartment was empty. Their social media accounts wiped. All that remained was a single black envelope, placed outside their dorm. Inside? 5 rings. Each one engraved with a single word. Taken. The disappearance of the Scarlet Circle was the biggest mystery St. Lucia University had ever seen. The girls were nowhere to be found. No calls. No messages. No whispers of where they had gone. It was as if they had been erased. Their penthouse remained untouched. The security footage from Velvet Haven, the last place they had been seen, had mysteriously vanished. Professors whispered behind closed doors. Students gossiped in hushed tones. But no one had answers. Until one stormy night, when Ariel returned. You don't understand. They took them. The rain was heavy when Ariel stumbled onto campus, her red dress soaked in mud and blood. She barely made it past the main gates before collapsing on the pavement. Her lips were cracked. Her eyes were hollow. When the security guards reached her, she screamed. Don't touch me. Don't. She thrashed, her hands clawing at her own skin as if she was trying to rip something out. The paramedics arrived, rushing her to the university clinic. And that's when the real horror began. Where are the others? Doctors hovered over her, whispering. She's dehydrated. Multiple lacerations. Signs of psychological distress. But it wasn't the wounds that terrified them. It was what was under her skin. Ariel's body was covered in dark, ink-like veins, twisting, shifting, as if they were alive. When she finally woke up, she grabbed the nurse's wrist, her voice hoarse, trembling. They took them. Who? The nurse asked, her eyes wide. Ariel's lips quivered. The ones in the masks. And then she began to laugh. A low, broken, unnatural sound. They let me go, so I could bring them more. The next morning, St. Lucia University was on high alert. The news spread fast. Ariel was back. The others were still missing. And whatever had happened to them wasn't over. A student reporter, James Okoro, managed to sneak into the clinic. When he saw Ariel, he almost ran. She was sitting by the window, her nails digging into her own arms, her lips moving in silent whispers. He pulled out his phone, recording. "Ariel," he said cautiously. "What happened that night?" She turned, slowly. And when she smiled, James dropped his phone. Her teeth were black. Her eyes were bleeding. And then, in a voice that was not her own, she whispered, "You should leave before sunset." "Why?" James stammered. Ariel's expression darkened. "Because tonight, they're coming back for me." The folktale that warned them. That evening, as James replayed the video footage in his dorm, he heard a knock on the door. It was his grandmother, Mama Ozioma. She had raised him, taught him the stories of the old world, the folktales that carried hidden warnings. "Mama, why are you here?" he asked, startled. Mama Ozioma's wrinkled face was tight with worry. She pointed at his laptop screen, where Ariel's twisted smile was frozen in the frame. "That girl. I know what has taken her." James frowned. "Mama, this isn't some ghost story." Mama Ozioma slapped his arm. "You think all folktales are just stories? Boy, listen to me." She pulled out a small wooden carving from her pocket, a figure with no eyes, no mouth, only deep, hollow spaces where a face should have been. "This is the tale of the faceless ones," she whispered. "They have existed for centuries, taking those who desire too much. They promise riches, but demand souls in return." James swallowed. "That's just an old legend." Mama Ozioma shook her head. "No, child. Legends are just truths we choose to forget." She pointed to the video again. "Those who escape the faceless ones always return, but they are no longer the same." James felt a chill creep up his spine. "You mean Ariel?" Mama Ozioma's lips trembled. "That girl is already gone." That evening, James did something reckless. He uploaded the footage of Ariel to his YouTube channel. Within hours, it went viral. Breaking: St. Lucia University student returns after 48-hour disappearance. What she said will shock you. People all over the city watched in horror as Ariel's lifeless smile filled their screens. Comments flooded in. "This has to be fake. What's wrong with her teeth? She's possessed." Did anyone else hear the whispering at the end? But at exactly midnight, the video disappeared. YouTube took it down. And James received a final message from an unknown number. "You made a mistake. There is no turning back now." Then, at 12:05 a.m., the power went out across the entire city. The blood moon rises. Midnight struck. And Velvet Haven's doors reopened. No invitations this time. No whispered promises. Only one rule: if you enter, you do not leave. And yet, one by one, they arrived. The curious. The nervous. The ones looking for answers. They stepped through the gates. And were never seen again. The final warning. 1 week later, James Okoro was found dead. His body was discovered outside Velvet Haven, his phone still in his hands. On the screen, a half-written text message. "They are not human." The police ruled it as an accident. But those who knew the truth whispered a different story. A story about a group of girls who wanted power. And the price they paid to get it. Because in the end, the Scarlet Circle never really disappeared. They just became something else. Something hungry. Something waiting. And on next year's Valentine's Eve, they would feast again.